Okay, finding a term in a geometric sequence. Okay, so there's the formula. Okay, so most of the things are representing the same, except for instead of having a D, this one has an R. So we already knew from the last time, Tn means the nth term. First term. Okay, this is the new part of the formula. We didn't have an R last time. We had a D in that formula. This time we have an R. It's the ratio, which yesterday I really called it the common multiplier. And the n is the number of terms. So if I'm asking for you finding the 10th term, that's what that is, 10. Okay, so here's the first example, 4, 8, 16. What would be the next in that sequence? 4, 8, 16, 32. Find the 6th term. Okay, so I'm going to give you an easy one here because can you do that in your head? Can you go 2 more times in that? Just in your head, can you think about what that would be? What's next? 64, and then 64 times 2 is 128. Yep. So that should be our answer. So let's see how we get it. So term 6, okay, filling into my formula, term 6 is what I'm finding, equals term 1, so that's a 4, times the R. So what is the ratio? What's the multiplier in my sequence? What's going on there? What am I doing every time? What am I multiplying by? 2. The n, so that's 6 because that's how many terms I got to get to. 6 minus 1. Okay, I would probably recommend changing that exponent first. Okay, and at this point you can go into your calculator and it will do the order of operations for you in your calculator because that times 4, but the calculator would do that order for you. So remember, we already thought the answer should be 128. So can you just practice this typing? 4 times 2 to the 5th. And does everybody know where that button is? The exponent button on your calculator? You know where it is? Everybody good with the button part? Did it work out? No? Let me see what you typed. 4 times 2 to the 5th. You forgot the 4, didn't you, last time?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. 80, negative 40, 20. There's my sequence. Find term 10. Okay, I'm just writing the formula here. You don't need to do this, but we'll fill it in. Okay, so term 10 equals the first term, so that's where an 80 will go. What is our R? What are we multiplying by?
Negative 0.5.
Negative a half, or negative 0.5, whatever you like to think of that as. Okay, if you did not see it, what do? Do you remember what you do if you don't see it? You take any term and divide it by the one in front of it. So you could have done 20 divided by negative 40. A term divide by a previous. Okay, if you don't see it. The n is 10. Okay, so this is what I'm going to type into my calculator. And I'm going to put brackets on my negative a half. Okay. Even if you're doing a negative 0.5, you got to have brackets on it. Okay, because it's going to mess up your negatives if you don't or do. And is anybody getting that decimal? Okay, I'm going to tell you that sometimes if you divide, and let's say you were in your calculator, let's say you ever saw this in your calculator. If you get this in your calculator, I don't want you to use this because it's going to round. What is this value as a fraction? 1/3. You should recognize that as 1/3. Yep.
How do you put the 9 in the calculator?
To the 9. That same button you just did. That Y to the X button. Same button as last time. Did you find it? Or try it again. And also, if you ever see this in your calculator, I don't want you to be using decimals because it's going to throw off your answer. What is this as a decimal? Or as a fraction, sorry. Do you recognize that as a fraction? 2/3. Okay? Do you guys know this pattern? 0.111 is 1/9. 0.222 is 2/9. 0.333 is 3/9. Which is why we get 1/3, right? 0.444 is 4/9. 0.555 is 5/9. 0.666 is 6/9. Which is why we get 2/3. Okay? So these decimals, I highly recommend you recognize them as those fractions because it's going to throw off your answers. Okay, last one. I think you can try this one on your own maybe. Okay, let's see if you can do that one. Term 11 is what I'm looking for.